After 200,000 miles, the winner between two-wheel and four-wheel drive Ram isn't decided by traction. It's decided by two fluids nobody talks about and how much your truck's worth the day you sell. I'm Buck, 12 years a Mopar dealer tech. Let's settle it. Yeah, four-wheel drive pulls better in the snow. Everybody knows that, and I'm not going to waste your time proving the obvious. That's not what decides which one is the smarter truck to own to high mileage. The real question is, which one costs you the least to keep alive to 300,000 miles, and which one hands you real money back when you sell it? That's how I'm judging this. And we start with the simpler truck, two-wheel drive. Here's what a two-wheel drive Ram is, mechanically. And it's mostly a story about what it doesn't have. No transfer case, no front differential, no front drive shaft, no front axle shafts, no front axle disconnect, no transfer case shift motor, no disconnect actuator. Every single one of those is a part a two-wheel drive truck can never break, because it isn't bolted to the truck in the first place. When people ask me what the most reliable configuration is, my honest gut answer is always the same. The part that isn't there can't fail. And a two-wheel drive truck is carrying a whole shorter list of things that can go wrong under the front end. And it adds up over a long life. No front drive shaft U-joints to wear out and start clunking. No front axle seals to leak. No transfer case to reseal at high mileage. No front axle shafts to click and fail. Those are all real repairs a four-wheel drive owner faces eventually. And the two-wheel drive man just never gets the bill. And when something does go wrong up front on a two-wheel drive, it's steering and suspension. Ball joints, tie rods, a wheel bearing, parts any shop in any town fixes fast and cheap. No transfer case to send out, no four-wheel drive control module to diagnose, no shift motor to source. Simplicity is its own kind of reliability, and the two-wheel drive truck has it in spades. That missing hardware does two more things for you. It takes weight off the nose of the truck, and less weight over the front means a little better fuel economy over the life of the truck, and slightly less wear on the front brakes, the front tires, and the front suspension components across a couple 100,000 miles. It also costs less to buy new in the first place, and it saves you the two driveline fluid services that a four-wheel drive truck needs, and this one simply never will. Fewer parts, less weight, less money in, and less money to maintain. On paper, for pure cost of ownership, the two-wheel drive makes a genuinely strong case, and I'm not going to pretend otherwise. Put a rough number on it. A four-wheel drive setup adds a couple 100 pounds, most of it hanging over the front axle. Now I'll be straight with you. On a modern truck, the fuel difference is small, because a brick-shaped pickup burns most of its gas pushing air, not hauling that extra 200 pounds. You might see under a mile a gallon, but small numbers still add up across 200,000 miles of receipts, and it all stays in the two-wheel drive man's pocket, right alongside the cheaper sticker and the fluids he never has to change. And I'll give it one more piece of credit people skip past. It's the honest choice for a lot of southern work trucks and fleets. The guys who pile on the miles and never see a snowflake. If that's your life, paying for a front axle you'll never engage is just carrying dead weight and burning extra fuel to haul it around. Buy what you'll actually use. I had a fellow down here in dry country, ran a two-wheel drive Hemi truck as a work vehicle. Flat roads, never saw snow, put it up on my lift at 240,000 miles for routine work. That front end was clean and tight. Nothing up there had been stressed, because there was nothing up there but suspension and steering. He bought cheap, he fueled cheap, and he maintained cheap. For his life, in his climate, that was the smart truck, and I told him so. And that's the honest heart of the two-wheel drive case. It isn't the loser here, it's the specialist. In the right hands, in the right place, it's the leaner, cheaper, simpler truck, and it'll run to the same 300,000 miles the four-wheel drive will. Reliability was never where two-wheel drive lost. It loses in exactly one place, and that place is the day you go to sell it. So where does two-wheel drive actually lose? Not on reliability, on money at resale, and on versatility. In most of the country, a used two-wheel drive half-ton is worth far less than the same truck with four-wheel drive, often close to half the money at trade time. And up in snow country, a modern two-wheel drive half-ton is nearly impossible to sell at all. Nobody up north wants one. So everything you saved buying it and fueling it, you hand right back the day you try to get out of it. That's the two-wheel drive trade. Cheaper to own, painful to sell. Before I get into the four-wheel drive side and why it takes this, do me a favor, hit subscribe, and drop a comment below telling me which one is sitting in your driveway right now, and why you chose it when you bought it. I read every one. Now four-wheel drive, and let me lay out the extra hardware honestly, because it is more parts. A four-wheel drive Ram adds a transfer case, a Borg-Warner unit, either the clutch-driven 4444 that gives you the four-wheel drive auto mode, or the solid lock 4445. It adds a front differential, a front drive shaft, front axle shafts, a front axle disconnect, the FAD, and an electric shift motor on the transfer case. That's a real list, and here's something worth learning about your own truck. Those two transfer cases behave differently. The clutch-driven 4444 with four-wheel drive auto can be left engaged on dry pavement. It slips its clutches to handle the speed difference between front and rear, and it's genuinely useful the first slick morning of the season. The solid lock 4445 cannot. Run that one locked in on dry pavement, and you'll bind up the driveline and tear something. Same badge, two very different transfer cases, and your owner's manual tells you which one is under you. And that front axle disconnect, the FAD, is what lets a four-wheel drive truck spend its life acting like a two-wheel drive one. In two-wheel drive, it uncouples the front axle so the diff and drive shaft aren't dragged along. Older trucks did it with a vacuum diaphragm. Newer ones use an electric actuator. When four-wheel drive won't engage, but you can hear the transfer case trying, that little actuator is usually the culprit, not the whole system. The front drive shaft and its U-joints are wear items too, but again, only against the few miles they actually turn. Grease them if yours takes grease, keep an eye on the boots, and they'll go the distance with the rest of the truck. And if you stopped right there, you'd think four-wheel drive has to be the one that dies younger, because it's got so much more that can break. Here's the insight that flips the whole thing, and it's the part nobody explains to you. A four-wheel drive truck spends almost its entire life running in two-wheel drive. That front drive line only spins when you actually engage four-wheel drive, which for most of you is a handful of times a winter, if that. The rest of the time, that front drive shaft, that front diff, those axle shafts, are just along for the ride, barely turning. So all that extra hardware sees a tiny fraction of the miles the rest of the truck racks up. I've had these trucks on my bench past 300,000 miles with every original four-wheel drive part still in place, except maybe a front axle actuator. The four-wheel drive system is not the weak point people imagine. The parts barely wear because they barely work. I can't say that strongly enough, because it's the exact opposite of what the showroom fear tells you. The front drive shaft on your four-wheel drive truck sits dead still every mile you drive to work. It only wakes up when you push the button. A part that spends most of its life not turning does not wear like a part that turns every second the engine runs. Now, if you're one of the few who runs four-wheel drive auto on the highway all winter, you're working those parts more, and you should service them more. That's fair. But even then, we're talking wear on cheap, serviceable hardware, not on the expensive heart of the truck. I've reeled off that parts list for nervous buyers 100 times, and every time it sounds scary until you remember the one fact that matters. Those parts spend their lives asleep. Wake them up a few times a winter, keep their fluids fresh, and they'll still be there when the odometer rolls past numbers most trucks never see. What does actually break is small, and I want you to know the names, so no shop scares you with them. The two common failures are the transfer case shift motor and the front axle disconnect actuator. Both of them throw a service four-wheel drive light on your dash. Both are a 1 to 2 hour job to replace. And on the 2016 through 2020 trucks, a software update, TSB 0809420, clears up a lot of those complaints before you replace a single part. Up north, the transfer case shifter linkage can rust and give trouble too. But notice what none of these are. None of them is an engine. None of them is a transmission. These are cheap, bolt-on parts, not the catastrophic failures the four-wheel drive fear is built on. And the money reflects that. A transfer case shift motor or a front axle actuator is a couple $100 in parts and an hour or two of labor, the kind of bill you forget by next week. The service four-wheel drive message is the one that empties wallets it shouldn't, because it sounds catastrophic, and it almost never is. It's the truck's computer saying it saw a fault. Could be that shift motor, could be the actuator, could be a corroded ground, a bad sensor, or just that software update it never got. A good tech checks the cheap causes first. A lazy one sells you a whole transfer case. Know the difference before you walk in. Now here's the real killer, and it's the promise I made you in the first 10 seconds. The two fluids nobody tells you about. Your transfer case holds its own fluid, and your front differential holds its own fluid, separate from everything else. And low or wrong fluid is the number one thing that kills a transfer case. Full stop. That case holds under 2 quarts. Think about that, under 2 quarts. The transfer case takes a specific fluid, on most of these an automatic transmission fluid to the Mopar spec, and the front differential takes gear oil, its own separate service. Neither one is exotic and neither one is expensive. What they are is forgotten. Watch for a small puddle or a wet film right at the transfer case or the front diff. And if your four-wheel drive ever starts to whine or shift hard, check those fluids before you panic. I'd put both on the kind of interval you'd give any gear oil, every 30 to 60,000 miles, sooner if you tow or wheel it. I've had that exact truck in here. A clean four-wheel drive Hemi, mid-200,000s, transfer case howling. Owner convinced the four-wheel drive was junk. I pulled the fill plug, and what dribbled out was black and burnt, barely fluid at all. That case never had its fluid changed in the truck's whole life, because every shop that touched it called it filled for life. It wasn't the four-wheel drive that failed him. It was the myth. So even a small leak you don't notice runs it dry in a hurry, and once it's dry it cooks itself. And the reason nobody services them is the same old lifetime fill lie that's killed more drivelines than hard driving ever did. Nobody changes them. The fluid burns up, the case grenades, and then the owner stands in front of me cursing four-wheel drive, when the truth is, he skipped a 20-minute, 2-quart service that costs pocket change. Do the transfer case and the front diff fluid on a real interval, and that system will outlive the truck. That's the whole secret. The hardware doesn't kill four-wheel drive. Neglecting those two fluids does. One more thing to check. Some 2019 Ram 1500s have a recall, NHTSA 20V080, where the transfer case can slip toward neutral. Pull your VIN and confirm it's been done. Free fix, and it's a safety item. That one's worth 10 minutes of your time. Most recall work sits undone because the owner never hears about it. The notice goes to whoever owned the truck 3 sales ago. Punch your VIN into the recall lookup yourself and stop waiting on a letter that's chasing the wrong address. And now the argument that wins it: resale. A four-wheel drive Ram holds close to double the resale of a comparable two-wheel drive truck across much of this country, and it sells to a far wider pool of buyers the day you list it. Even if you never once leave the pavement, that four-wheel drive badge is money sitting in the truck. I've watched 2 nearly identical trucks come through. Same year, same miles, same Hemi. And the four-wheel drive one brought thousands more and sold in a weekend, while the two-wheel drive one sat. That's not opinion. That's what the check says when you're done with the truck. And it's not just the number, it's how fast it moves. A four-wheel drive truck sells to everybody. The tower, the hunter, the guy who got stuck in his two-wheel drive once and swore never again, the northern buyer who won't even look at 2 driven wheels. A two-wheel drive truck sells to a smaller crowd in a smaller part of the map. When you're ready to be done, the four-wheel drive truck is gone by Sunday, and the two-wheel drive one is the ad that keeps getting relisted. Think of the four-wheel drive premium not as money you spend, but as money you park in the truck and get back later. Sometimes most of it, sometimes all of it, because the truck you're selling is the one everybody's looking for. I've never once had a man call me regretting that he bought the four-wheel drive. I've heard plenty regret the two-wheel drive the first winter, or the first time they went to trade it. That tells you which way the market really leans. So here's the verdict, and I'll give it to you straight with the reasoning. Four-wheel drive is the clear winner for most owners, and not for the reason you'd guess. It does not die younger, because it lives its life in two-wheel drive, and that extra hardware barely turns. The only thing that ever kills the four-wheel drive system is those 2 fluids nobody told you to change. Service them, and it outlasts the truck. On top of that, it holds nearly double the resale and sells to twice the buyers. Durability plus resale. That's the win, and it's earned, not handed to it. And if you tow, or you plow, or you live where the seasons actually change, it isn't even close. The four-wheel drive earns its keep several times a year and hands it all back at resale. That four-wheel drive auto mode alone, the first icy morning when the truck just quietly handles it, is worth the couple of fluids a year it asks of you. For most of you watching, Northern, tow something now and then, plan to sell someday, the four-wheel drive is the truck, and it's not close. But it comes with homework, and the homework is two fluids most owners and most shops ignore. Do the homework, and this is a truck that goes 300,000 miles and sells itself when you're done. And the one man who should buy two-wheel drive is the dry climate, budget-minded, maximum fuel economy owner who wants the simplest truck alive and knows he'll never need the front axle. For him, two-wheel drive is genuinely the smarter call, and there's no shame in it. He saves real money and never misses what he didn't buy. But for everybody else, especially anybody north of the snow line, four-wheel drive, serviced, not neglected, is the truck that reaches 300,000 miles and still brings real money the day you're done with it. Here's your buyer's guide in one breath. Dry climate, tight budget, best fuel number, never tows in the mud, wants the fewest parts. Buy the two-wheel drive and change the one less fluid, and enjoy the simplest truck on the lot. Snow, resale down the road, any chance you'll need traction, or you just want the truck that's easiest to sell later. Buy the four-wheel drive and put those two fluids on a real schedule the day you drive it home. And whichever way you go, buy it inspected. On a used four-wheel drive, take it somewhere slick and safe and actually cycle it into four-wheel drive and back. Make sure it engages clean, no grinding, no light on the dash. A truck that shifts in and out right is a truck whose previous owner probably didn't neglect it. That 30-second test tells you more than any window sticker. Either way, same truth I keep landing on. The drivetrain doesn't decide whether you hit 300,000 miles. The fluids and the maintenance do. So here's the one thing to actually do. Service the transfer case and the front diff fluid on a real interval, whatever truck you drive, because that's the thing that quietly decides this whole contest. If you want to go deeper, watch the one where I compared the 3rd, 4th, and 5th gen Ram to figure out which body is the best to own. And watch the video on how to make your Ram last over 300,000 miles for the full maintenance side of all this. Subscribe so the next one finds you. That's it from me. See you in the next one.